Okay, this is Austin Kaufman. He's the USY International President, and he's here to share about his time with the pandemic and how it's changed us from a USYer's perspective, as well as a little bit about himself and some exciting opportunities he has coming up. Thank you for joining us, Austin,
Thank you
and
for
sharing your
having me.
story with Journeys. So
Thank you.
congratulations on your role as USY International President. And did
Thank
you
you.
just graduate high school?
Yeah, I did. I graduated actually. So my 18th birthday is June 4th, and I graduated on that day too. So I had kind of a double simcha in my house.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday. Congratulations. How was
Thank you.
your ceremony held, your graduation ceremony?
So we had kind of a drive-by parade around my neighborhood by my school. And then we had a video ceremony that was pre-recorded with the speeches and my principal's address. So I turned my tassel from my couch.
That sounds fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And you're participating in the Native Gap program this year?
Yeah, on Nativ.
Awesome. What are you most looking forward to?
There's a lot of things for sure I'm looking forward to. I think a big part's the people. I know a lot of people are already going on the program, but there's definitely people I don't know yet. So I'm excited to get to know them and make memories and truly explore Israel, because I was supposed to go on pilgrimage last summer and then had some medical complications that came up. And then I was supposed to go visit them this summer as international president, but then the pilgrimage trips got canceled. So hopefully Nativ, third time's the charm, and I get to really explore Israel.
Oh, I hope third time is a charm. Do you have any details yet about where you're going to be volunteering or anything like that?
Yeah, so the first semester I'll be living in Jerusalem with the whole Nativ group, and I'll be studying at the Hebrew University. So I'm not sure exactly what classes I'll be taking yet, but I'll be studying there. And then the second semester I'll be living in Tiberias, and then we volunteer around the city. But they assign those volunteer tracks once you're already in Israel. So I don't know exactly what I'll be doing yet, but I'll be
That's
living
great.
with
It
fellow
sounds like it's going to
Nativers
be
in Tiberias.
a lot of fun and a great experience.
Yeah.
So how did you first get involved with USI, and what inspired you to run to be international president?
So it was definitely a long journey to get to international president, but my start in USY was because of my big brother. He joined USY when he was in high school, or my dad did it in the 80s, but he didn't push it too hard because he didn't want to pressure us into it or anything. My brother found it kind of through him and through a cousin, and then I joined because of my brother. And by the time I joined, he was on regional board as a SATO, so he kind of made sure that I came into it and really pushed me, which I really appreciate to this day, because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would have gotten involved. And then from there, it was kind of a mix of being on chapter board and regional general board. And then I got onto the international general board for membership Kadima. So I was on the MEMCAD committee my sophomore to junior year. And then I was on the MEMCAD IGB international general board again the year after that as a US Wire connection chair on the MEMCAD IGB. But I really saw kind of that value of connection amongst US Wires. And I wanted to try bring it to every position and every aspect of USY, not just the membership Kadima aspect. So that's kind of how I made the shift from everything I was doing after my brother got me involved to being in running for international president.
That's fabulous. I love that family support too, kind of firsthand knowledge. So we have we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and we've got a lot of current events going around right now. How is USY adapting to this current situation during the pandemic and still connecting and inspiring Jewish youth?
Yeah, so it was definitely this is an unprecedented pandemic and unprecedented world event, but USY adapted pretty fast. So it started with us turning all of our spring conventions, some of them which were set to happen a week or two after the stay-at-home order started. So we took those conventions that were going to happen in person and put them online for the most part. So we had around 15 virtual conventions in the spring. But then we also started a thing called US Wi-Fi, which is a series of USY online events, and they're all kind of marketed through this part of the website and advertised and all. There's this hub called US Wi-Fi, which people can go to find events, whether it's in one of our 15 regions or an international USY event. And there's also chapter events online that people can go to their friends or their own chapters. So that's been a really cool way to kind of connect people. And my whole thing kind of going into my term this year was the 3 C's: connection, collaboration, and community. And I definitely think all 3 of those have been enhanced in incredible ways during the pandemic. but I also know that it's not necessarily something I would have asked for or like expected or planned out. But I'm kind of trying to capitalize because kind of the pandemic is something concrete, like it's already happened, and we can't change that. But I'm trying to kind of help use. I like to think I'm a very optimistic person, but I'm kind of trying to spread that optimism and spread that lens of connection and collaboration and community to all of USY. And also with that, like this summer, we're having My US Wi-Fi Summer. So normally there's like My USY Summer, which is all of the summer programs. We're doing My US Wi-Fi Summer. And there's a bunch of online classes from like a songwriting class with the legendary Josh Warshawski to many classes you can get with the All Access Pass. Like I'm even teaching a magic class with my international MCAD and good friend, Jacob Klein. So we're definitely doing a lot, but I think it's definitely keeping USYers engaged, and we're always trying to come up with new ideas and constantly engage more. And especially when the fall is looking like it'll also be online, we're trying to come up with new ways to engage USYers in the fall and help them connect that are more than just what we've been doing already. Like we're not settling for what we've already done. We're going to constantly try and make ourselves better.
That's amazing. It sounds like you're so innovative, optimistic. And are you a magician? Or you're teaching a magic class?
So I am not necessarily a magician, but I have dabbled in magic. I joined the magic club at my school in my sophomore year and kind of joined it as a joke because one of my friends from my improv team was on it. But I did some tricks for my family and they liked it. So I was encouraged to do more. And so I eventually kept stuck with the magic club. And then my friend Jacob Klein is really good at magic. So I'm going to be kind of like his assistant co-teacher. And we'll hopefully teach people grades 5 through 12 in like a 4-week class how to do some magic. But it'll be a good time. I'm excited.
That sounds wonderful. So I want to talk a little bit about your health and maybe how you've been able to draw upon your faith during the journey. Are you okay to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
So to kind of lay the foundation, I guess, of my health. So I was diagnosed with cancer in 6th grade and like fought it and overcome it like a little bit through 7th grade, and it was totally clear for about 5 years, and then it like randomly came back at the end of my junior year of high school. So the past 14 months I've kind of been fighting that, and like when I was running for I was fresh off a round of chemo and I came to IC SoCal when I ran for international board. But I'm really happy to say that I'm officially in remission.
Fabulous. Congratulations.
Yeah,
I love hearing that.
Thank you. So as of a few weeks ago, I'm officially all clear. So I'm still going to do some maintenance chemotherapy just to make sure everything stays all good. But my scans look good and I'm feeling good. So that's all that matters in terms of like where I kind of stand in my journey to get here. But I guess the USY community has really been an outlet for me. And I think like I've spent a lot of time since I started USY trying to really be there for my friends. And I still tried to do that once I was as I was going through my medical challenges, but my friends were also really there for me and that community. And whether it was talking to friends on FaceTime, at the clinic while I was getting chemotherapy or when I was home, and not necessarily super duper mobile at times, but I also still tried to go to school. So I was definitely getting out there, but my friends were definitely there for me in that respect. And also having kind of those checkpoints of our Far West regional conventions to look forward to. And then fall boards weekend and the international convention in Southern California, were all really big things for me to look forward to. And USY was definitely my lifeline. And I think I definitely had my family and things like that and some friends from school in 6th and 7th grade when I was going through it the first time. But it was a completely different journey because of my USY friends and my USY community kind of adding into that aspect of my really tight-knit family and things like that.
Oh, that's great. It's great to have that additional support, that additional group that was there for you. Do you feel like it strengthened your faith at all going through that journey?
So I definitely think after going through it the first time, my faith was strengthened. I had more of my family started doing regular prayers, on a night before I'd go to sleep. And I just had my bar mitzvah right afterwards, and it was a really big simcha. I had to delay it a few months when I was sick, but we had it, and it was a big simcha celebrating with all my family who had supported me, immediate and extended family. But when I joined, like I started going to Camp Ramon, California and doing USY around the same time. I started USY in February of 8th grade, and I started going to camp that summer after 8th grade. So that kind of 1-2 punch of all the Judaism really kind of helped make it an intrinsic thing, like something I really wanted to do for myself. And I think that really was expanded exponentially when I was going through it the second time, because it really made me realize the community that comes with Judaism and connect more to some prayers. And like I have, there's this teaching from Rabbi Simcha Bunim, but he kind of talks about having one note in each pocket, like one that says I am but dust and ashes, and one that says the world was created for me. So I got this like poker chip from my regional office with the USY logo on it, and and it has one of those phrases on each side. So like little teachings like that have really helped me through it, because like every morning I'll kind of flip it back and forth and pick one to kind of set my mindset for the day. So if I'm like, for example, going into chemo, I might be like, I'm but dust and ashes. Like, it doesn't matter. You got this. Like, you'll get through it. But if I'm heading to like a USY weekend, I'll say the world was created for me. Like, really enjoy it, live in the moment, be present. So like little things like that have definitely been enhanced and are things I'm going to carry with me for years to come.
That is lovely. I love the coin idea that you flip. It's so small and easy little token. I guess you could just put in your pocket or anywhere you want.
Yeah.
That's lovely. So you've been, I mean, you're so busy right now with your role as international president and planning all these activities and preparing for the gap year in September. How do you stay motivated and dedicated during such a busy time?
Yeah, so I think the bottom line is that I love USY, but I know that sounds cheesy, so for your sake, I'll go into it a little bit more. But so I just have a real passion for kind of connecting USYers. And I think when this whole pandemic started and a lot of the events myself and USY and my board and everyone was really looking forward to, we kind of like, a lot of people would just be like, okay, like we quit, like this is not what we were expecting. But I kind of am a big fan of finding the silver lining. And that's a big thing that I gained from kind of my medical journey and my family gained. But so I've been really trying to use my like skill set and my kind of what I had going into this job to really spread that to a lot of other USYers, whether that's my board or the International General Board or the regional boards or just USYers as a whole. Like I try to go to as many events as I can and really support them. And I kind of have this like intrinsic motivation. Like I'm not doing it because anyone told me to, or because it's necessarily like in my job description, because nothing involving virtual events has ever been really done before. But I'm really just trying to set a precedent and explore what international president's going to look like from here on out, because I think USY is going to look different, but I'm really enjoying that challenge and it's something that I'm excited about. So I think that's kind of how it's easy for me to stay involved and kind of really hands-on.
Right, that's great. It sounds like this role is a good role for you to be in at this time, because you're so willing to just kind of dive in and adjust as needed, which is great. So before we sign off, is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you wanted to share?
I think just kind of the idea of like USYers are really being resourceful right now. And it's definitely not easy, but even like we've been doing really incredible things. Like for Black Lives Matter, we raised like USYers, like a USYer led and then USY allocated fundraising campaign to raise pretty much $20,000 plus some. And we donated it across 2 organizations to really make a big impact and kind of put our money where our mouth was. But also with that, we're going to be also doing a lot of social action programs to really educate USYers, and not just kind of for that case by USYers for USYers, but bringing in outside sources who can really help us grow and be there as much as we can. But so ranging anywhere from that and what we're doing with kind of Black Lives Matter and what's going on in the world right now. And setting a foundation to have it go, like have the teachings and things like that go on way past the social media trend that a lot of people are doing it for. Mm-hmm. But we're also doing other things. Like I mentioned, like my USY Fly Summer, and we're really being resourceful. And I think like, I'm just excited for the challenge to kind of reshape what USY is going to look like from like post coronavirus. And I hope everyone's excited to do that with me.
I'm sure they are. I mean, your enthusiasm is apparent, so I'm sure that's infectious as well, which is great. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything, Austin, about USY and your journey. and have a wonderful time this September when you head off for the Gap Year program. And good luck with everything and all the classes, and congratulations on your success so far.
No, thank you so much. And thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.